Could you please give us your name?
Jeffrey Epstein.
Wow. 4 years later after this guy's death, and even now more information is coming out about this guy and the people that he's affiliated with. It's no wonder that they wanted him dead. It's no wonder that he took his own life. So does the name Leon Black sound familiar to you? No, not this guy. This guy. Ever seen him? Probably haven't, have you? And in all honesty, it's fine if you haven't. He's one of those kind of people that you would consider to be a silent billionaire. And if you didn't know who he was then, you're definitely going to want to know who he is now, because some of the things that these guys do, and I mean these guys because he's certainly not alone in these accusations, but this story is just specifically about him. So ask yourself this question: what is it that Jeffrey Epstein and billionaire Leon Black have in common? One's a provider, the other one's a consumer. In quite possibly one of the most disgusting stories I've read all day. It's going against my better nature to think that this isn't true, but of everything that I'm reading so far, it's starting to point the needle to say that it actually is. So provide me a moment and let me just paint this picture for you. But before we get into it, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like and consider subscribing. So Leon Black has had a lawsuit filed against him, and while that's no new thing, I mean, people have lawsuits filed against him all the time. In this instance, is completely different. A woman is actually suing him, and remember, he is a billionaire, because she's accusing him of sexually assaulting her when she was 16 years old in the Manhattan townhouse of one Jeffrey Epstein.
Look, I like everything about collecting. I am an obsessive-compulsive sicko collector.
That's where the connection is. Now, while I hate getting so detailed, if I have to feel uncomfortable reading this, you guys have to feel uncomfortable hearing this. So the way that she describes it, she goes over some of the accounts. There is a reason why I said that this is disturbing. When she started going into detail, she was describing the sexual assault that left her bleeding and crying. Take it in that she was only 16 at the time, and while they won't give her name, they did provide some details about her condition. For instance, she's autistic, and she has a rare form of Down syndrome. And yet allegedly, this is who this guy forced himself onto. Now obviously, you know we have to say allegedly because nothing has been proven in court as of yet. The lawsuit is still going on. But Leon Black's lawyer did actually come and said that he has never even met this woman. So they dismissed the statements, calling the lawsuit frivolous, vicious, and defamatory lies. They even went as far as to say that this is actually being brought about by a rival law firm, stating that this exact same law firm had filed a previous sexual assault complaint against Leon Black that was eventually thrown out. Well, this law firm actually responded, and they basically said that all he's trying to do is just point the blame somewhere else. You know what it is, a little bit of sleight of hand, make you pay attention over here while the real trick is actually happening over here.
6, misdirection, to lead attention away from a secret move.
But about this guy Leon Black, let me just provide you guys with a little bit of information. 1, he's 71 years old. He's the CEO of Apollo Global Management. To this date, I believe that he's worth about 10.1 if not 10.2 billion dollars. His company in and of itself manages about $500 billion in assets. He retired from being Apollo Global Management CEO in 2021 of March, and this was after the board did an investigation to find that he had paid Jeffrey Epstein, and get this, listen to this number,
$1 million.
$158 million in fees. He's married, he has 4 kids, he lives in New York. He's a bit of an art collector. For instance, in 2012, he spent about $120 million for the Edvard Munch paintings, The Scream. So, do you remember earlier how I had mentioned that there was another law firm that he was saying, or his lawyer was actually stating, that all of this was manufactured by another law firm? Well, apparently this is the 3rd accusation that this guy has going for him of someone accusing him of sexual assault. In addition to the one that Leon Black's lawyer had said was thrown out, there was another woman, Cherry Pearson, in November accused Black of violent sexual assault that left her swollen, torn, and bleeding. I can't be the only one noticing a pattern in some of the descriptions and how he leaves some of these girls, if this is actually true. It's funny how when information comes out, everyone has deep regrets over affiliating themselves with a known, well, you know what he is already. So regarding our Jane Doe, the one who's filing this lawsuit, her lawyers say that she was shipped off in 2002 to meet Leon Black in New York City. Jeffrey, when he was introducing the suspect and the victim together, he introduced him as, his special friend. $158 million fee? Yeah, that's a very special friend. The lawyers even go as far as to say that when Jeffrey was talking to her, he instructed her to give Leon the same kind of massage that she gives to him. Now remember that this girl is only 16 years old, and based on seeing some of Jeffrey Epstein's earlier girls, she's probably very petite. Take into consideration that Leon Black is 6'4", 300 pounds, and is said to have grabbed this girl's hand so hard that she thought that bones had broken. And in case I have to point it out, obviously when Jeffrey Epstein had mentioned the word massage, we all know that does not necessarily mean massage, right? It's code for, come on now, really? And she describes that during the encounter, Leon Black forced himself on her, calling her all kinds of shameful names, disgusting names, demeaning terms, pinning her down, and causing her, and I quote, unimaginable pain. She's in her 30s now, and although she can move on, I guarantee she'll never forget this. It's always my hope that justice is served, but I'd be wrong to not mention that these are still allegations. There is still a massive uphill of proof. It sounds like what you can do here, you can prove that there's affiliation. Leon Black didn't hide that. You can prove that there was some level of camaraderie, partnership even, payments being made, and more than likely visitation. What they would need to prove is that they were in the same facility, at the same time, the suspect and the victim, and that a sexual encounter did transpire. That's honestly where the hard part is. Just simply stating that him and Jeffrey Epstein did have some level of affiliation. This was already covered in the news that Jeffrey Epstein used to provide some consulting to him, his firm, and his family in regards to taxes, art, and so on and so forth. You can call that billionaire camaraderie.
Has been under the microscope of late. You can see its stock price has also been down, in part because of the relationship between its founder, chairman and CEO Leon Black, and Jeffrey Epstein. Mr. Black is perhaps the most low-key of all the private equity titans.
But what that doesn't do is unfortunately prove that because those two were affiliated with one another, that it then led to a sexual encounter. So if this is true, and by everything that I'm reading right now, it really does seem like it is, then I hope she gets justice, and that she has a really good lawyer. Because if he's worth $10.1 billion, then you know for sure he does already. So hands down, I'm going to be following up with this. I want to see how this turns out. But you guys let me know what it is that you think. Do you believe that this story was actually true? Especially based on some of the other allegations that came out in regards to Leon Black, and especially some of the other allegations that came out with some other high-profile individuals. Whatever you think, leave your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to drop a like, and I will see you guys again for the next one. Be easy, y'all.
Could you please give us your name?
Jeffrey Epstein.